Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dylan James. I'm Vice President with the Western Region Listings here at Nasdaq. We're excited to continue to celebrate all things San Diego with Nasdaq San Diego Week, where we're talking to many companies about their businesses and what's in store for the future. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest right now. Neurocrine Bioscience is a neuroscience-focused biopharmaceutical company with more than 25 years of experience developing life-changing treatment for patients with neurological, endocrine, and psychiatric disorders. Kevin Gorman is CEO. And Kevin, we were just talking about, you guys were founded in 1992, public in 1996, raised somewhere around $31 million at that point in time. It's great to have you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Dylan. Thank you for the opportunity to talk here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Neurocrine. Tell us a little bit about the company, where you are today, and what you're working on.
Yeah, as you said, we've been around for quite some time. We're not an overnight success. In this industry, you certainly have a lot of ups and downs, but perseverance pays off. So we've been, we're a neuroscience-focused company, but we also focus at the intersection of neuroscience with endocrinology, neuroscience with psychiatry. And what we are set out as our mission is to bring treatments to patients who have serious, challenging, and very often underappreciated diseases. These patients feel like they're hidden in the shadows, they have no voice, and what we want to do is advocate for them, for their care, and bring hope to them with the medications that we develop.
Kevin, tell me about a project right now that most excites you.
It's hard to choose. As you know, we have two compounds that are currently on the market that were both discovered and developed at Neurocrine. One Ingrezza that is treating the disease tardive dyskinesia, which Neurocrine markets on its own here in the United States. A second one that we partnered with AbbVie, Orilissa, which is a women's health product, and they got it approved and are currently marketing it for women with endometriosis. They will be filing another NDA for the treatment of uterine fibroids with the same medication. We have a deep pipeline. We have a number of projects going on here, both in research and development, and then also through phase 1, 2, and going into phase 3 clinical trials. If I were to pick one out of that to talk about today, it would be one that treats an orphan disease called congenital adrenal hyperplasia, or CAH for short. It is a disease, a genetic disease, where children are born with a genetic lesion such that they can't make cortisol, and without cortisol you can't live. So these babies all died prior to the mid-60s when hydrocortisone was discovered, and then it was used in these children, but at very high doses. It keeps them alive, but they then get a double shot of the devastating effects of the underlying disease of CAH, plus all of the devastating side effects of having to take these super therapeutic doses of cortisol. We have a drug that gave us some very good phase 2 data just earlier this year, which shows that we can recapture their endocrine system with this drug, and such we can not only treat the underlying disease, but we hope in phase 3 clinical trials we're going to be able to show that we can then lower down to physiological levels of the cortisol that they have to take, so hitting both ends of their disease. We're meeting with the FDA a little later this summer in order to agree on the pivotal pathway in adults, and then we're also starting the phase 2 program in children very shortly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is a disease where, again, there's maybe only 20,000 of these patients in the United States. It's a disease you've probably never heard of, yet quite devastating to them. And again, it's bringing the first treatment in nearly 60 years to these patients, and giving them a voice and giving them hope that they can now surmount this disease.
Pivoting a little bit to the industry, how have you seen the industry change and evolve over the last several years?
Yeah, I've been in San Diego area now for just about 30 years, actually. I think this year it'll be 30 years, and started my career as a venture capitalist here in San Diego, and then founded and joined Neurocrine at that point. San Diego's always been a hotbed for very young startup companies here. What we see now is we see a maturation of the industry, a maturation of the region. So now you have companies that still a hotbed for startups, and you can see why. We have the Salk Institute, we have UCSD, we have Scripps, we have Sanford Burnham. These are all world-class institutes, and so there's just an amazing amount of great science that entrepreneurs can then bring into their companies. But what we have seen over that period of time is these companies grow, like Neurocrine and like Ionis and others. And you're seeing even companies from the outside coming here to set up, like a GW Pharma. So we're getting a lot of companies that have been able to grow. Illumina is probably the largest of all the health sciences related companies here. And they're growing, they're becoming commercial, they're adding significantly to the fabric of the San Diego biotech community.
What about that you find most exciting for the future?
What I find most exciting to the future is the fact that, again, we're now really well positioned to take some of the outstanding science that's been created at these academic institutions and keep it close, keep it in this region, and be able to grow that. Because when you have the commercial entities here with the academic entities, you can, and with a broad variety from both, you really can create more than what the sum of the parts are.
Mm-hmm. And I promise that this is not a paid-for plug, but what value do you place on Neurocrine's partnership with Nasdaq?
What Nasdaq is particularly great at is, number one, it allows you to grow. You can get out there with Nasdaq with an IPO, as you had said that we did, where we raised about $30 million as a small company. I think our last raise in Nasdaq was in excess of $270 million. You can continue to grow with Nasdaq. The intel that you can utilize from Nasdaq, the transparency of the trades that take place with Nasdaq, all of that is extremely valuable to a company.
And I should also make mention of, because I mentioned how much you raised, you guys are an $8 billion market cap company today and growing at a pretty fast pace. And I don't want to make sure it doesn't go unnoticed. You're kind enough to host us here in your headquarters today, which is fabulous. So I had not been back since the renovation, and it's really something else.
Our pleasure, yeah. We are growing. With success comes the need for more and more room here, so we're very proud and happy with the campus that we're building here.
So what does the next 5 to 7 years hold for Neurocrine?
So, you know, even looking just 1 year from now, we will have, knock on wood, because we have an NDA filing coming up for a Parkinson's drug in just very shortly, that this time next year we will have 3 different medications on the market in 4 different indications, and that includes with our partnership with AbbVie. Over the next 5 to 7 years, we look at this pipeline that we've built currently and what we will continue to build in order to mature. We would imagine that over the next 5 years we'll have at least 1 more approved drug, perhaps more. We will be in multiple indications, 6 to 7. We are not only, we're a company that's founded on making, as I say, small molecule drugs, orally active drugs, but we understand that there's been tremendous growth in the science, which is one of the most exciting things. I think this is the best time to be a scientist these last 10 years, when you look at the advancements that have been made with genetic medicines. And so we have understood that neuroscience, if we're going to be a leader or if we're going to be the leading neuroscience company in the world, you need to be able to harness this innovation that's taking place in the entire academic and community, and you got to do it early so that you can really add to that, and you can take it to patients in maybe a 10-year time frame. So recently we did a deal with a terrific company in Boston called Voyager, also listed on the Nasdaq. And Voyager is a wonderful gene therapy company. So now Neurocrine has a very close and tight relationship with them on 4 different programs in gene therapy, and we look at that as being something that is going to really transform the company over the next 5 to 7 years.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, it's an honor to have you. Thanks again for hosting us.
Thank you.
And I've appreciated getting to know the story over the last several years as I was working the San Diego market for us. So Kevin, thanks so much again. Would you mind playing a quick game? We brought the Nasdaq Tower to San Diego, and so we have a quick lightning round game to play with you. It'll take about a minute.
That'll be fine.
Okay, real quick, Kevin, here's our game. We have brought the Nasdaq Tower to San Diego here for a lightning round of sorts. This will be a lot of fun. All you have to do is pick from one of the topics above in a category that you want, and we will add up the points at the end. So you can start with a large number of points or a small number of points, whatever you'd like to. And can I get 1 minute on the clock? Okay, great. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Here we go.
Utilizing the new Jeopardy strategy, inside look for 800.
All right, I love it. What is your favorite way to get organized?
I don't. I've given up organization years ago.
Perfect. Next question.
Advice for 800.
Okay, great. We love Jeopardy. What is your best productivity hack?
Know how to delegate.
There you go. Perfect. Next question.
Success for 800.
All right. What are your metrics for success?
Engagement of employees, and also to be able to stay close to patients and hear their stories.
That's a wonderful answer. Next question.
Let's go down to see advice for 600.
Okay. Who do you look up to?
I look up to the patients that we treat. When I hear their stories and when I get to have just a brief moment of time to try to walk in their shoes, I have to look up to them.
That is awesome. That's a great, that's where we're going to end because we are out of time. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you
Kevin,
very
it's been
much.
awesome to visit with you. Thanks, everybody. Again, keep watching here where you found us. This is NASDAQ San Diego Week. I'm Dylan James. We'll see you next time.